Hey guys, Saki here from Saki Tech, and in today's video I want to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S8. Now, based on some extremely reliable leaks from multiple resources, we are almost certain exactly what we're going to get with the Samsung Galaxy S8. So in this video I want to talk about the top 10 things you need to know about the Samsung Galaxy S8. And I can guarantee you guys, everything I mentioned in this video is most likely simply going to happen with almost 100% certainty, but just to be safe, let's keep it down at 95% certainty. Alright, so the top 10 things you need to know about the Samsung Galaxy S8. Let's dive in. Number one is very simple. I want to get the simple things out of the way. So there's not going to be a Samsung Galaxy S8 Edge. Remember that. It's going to be a smaller Samsung S8 and a larger S8 Plus. And both phones are going to have curved edges like the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, and they're going to have rounded corners, so they're going to look gorgeous. So that's number one. Number two, there's a couple dates you guys just have to remember. There's three key dates that you have to remember. One of them is February 26th. That's when Samsung is going to have a press conference in MWC, but a lot of people think that they might release the S8. That's not going to happen. Okay, so on February 26th at MWC, what they are going to do is they're most likely going to release the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3. That's their tablet lineup. That's the latest tablet they're going to release this year. So they might give us a little revelation, a little teaser about the S8, but they're not going to release it. So when is the launch date? The launch date is March 29th. It's going to happen in New York in a special event. Samsung is going to launch the S8, and they're going to tell us everything we need to know about the S8 in that presentation. But the launch date is not the release date. So the release date is the third date. It's going to be April 21st. So the phone is going to be available for sale on April 21st, in case you guys are wondering. And if not exactly April 21st, give or take a couple days, and it's going to be in the middle April sometime. So that's number two. So number three, I want to talk about the screen size and screen resolution. So basically the S8 Plus, the larger phone, is going to have a 6.2-inch screen, and the S8, the smaller version, is going to have a 5.8-inch screen. So no matter what, you're getting a large, beautiful screen. Now here's the good thing about these screens. They actually have a Quad HD Plus resolution. Okay, so the regular Quad HD that you have is 2560 by 1440. The Quad HD Plus is going to be 3200 by 1600. So you have more pixels. As a matter of fact, if you do the math, with Quad HD Plus, you're getting over 5.5 million pixels. With the regular Quad HD that you have on standard phones these days, you get approximately 3.5 million pixels. I'm going to showcase the exact numbers on the screen. And finally, with the screen, the S8 Plus is going to have 650 pixels per inches approximately, and the S8, because it has a smaller screen, is going to have approximately 690 pixels per inches, again if you do the math. So that's the specs that we have on the display, and that's exactly what we're going to get. Alright, so that was number three. Let's move on to the next thing you need to know about the Samsung Galaxy S8. The next thing actually is the processor. So the processor is going to be twofold. The US market is going to get the Snapdragon 835 processor, and the rest of the world is going to get the Exynos octa-core 8895 processor. That's the Exynos 9 processor. That's Samsung's in-house processor. Now, here's the problem. Historically speaking, the Exynos processors are actually more powerful than the Snapdragon processors as far as the Galaxy phones are concerned. So even last year when they released the Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge, they came in two versions. US markets got the Snapdragon version, and the rest of the world got the Exynos version. And when people did tests and benchmarks and comparisons, they realized that the Exynos is faster than the Snapdragon. So this year, I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope it does not happen. I hope everything is the same, but just keep that in mind. So if the Exynos version is faster, and if that's the one you want, you're going to have to buy an international unlocked phone if you're in the US. So again, the US phones, the US S8s are gonna get Snapdragon 835, and the rest of the world is gonna get Exynos 8895. Let's move on to the next thing, which is the camera, which is very important. These days, cameras can make or break a phone. Okay, if you have a bad camera on an otherwise amazing phone, that phone may not last too long in the market. It may not sell as good as some other phones. So the rear camera on the Samsung Galaxy S8s, both of them, is going to be a 12 megapixel dual pixel camera. And on the front, you're gonna have an 8 megapixel front facing camera. So basically what's gonna happen is, guys, the Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge already have brilliant cameras. So all that's gonna happen is on the S8s, you're gonna get the cameras that are even better. So what you should expect is going to be things like faster autofocus, sharper images, and of course, better low light photography, which is a very important aspect of these cameras. The next thing I want to talk about is the fingerprint sensor. Now, a lot of us thought that the fingerprint sensor was going to be built in the front into the display. We do not have any physical buttons on the front, so we assumed it's going to be built into the screen, but that's not going to be the case. All right, guys, what's going to happen is, based on various images of this phone, the fingerprint sensor is in fact on the back of the device, and that's almost certain. I've seen cases listed for sale on websites that were taken down later because it was a mistake, and they all have on the back of the case enough room to accommodate for the camera, for the LED flash, and also for the fingerprint sensor, which is right next to the camera. So that's the fingerprint sensor. A little bit disappointed, but no problem. Okay, this phone is still going to be an absolute beast. The next thing I want to talk about is the RAM. So again, we had various leaks that were saying that we might get 6 gigs of RAM. This was according to some Chinese analysts, but it seems that with the recent leaks that Evan Blast just blasted us with, we can clearly see on the official spec sheet that the S8s are going to have 4 gigs of RAM. So anybody that was expecting 6 gigs, say goodbye to that. It's going to be 4 gigs, which is slightly unfortunate because there's phones on the market right now back from 2016, such as the OnePlus 3T, that already has 6 gigabytes of RAM. And the Samsung Galaxy S8, which is supposed to be the absolute flagship, does not have it. So that's the RAM. And of course, you're gonna get 64 gigs of storage when you buy the phone. That's just the default storage, but you're gonna be able to add extra storage with a micro SD expansion card if you buy one of these. It's nice to have that option to be able to add extra storage just in case if you want to have a lot of media on your phone and pictures and videos. All right, so the next thing is the iris scanner. So guys, we're gonna have an iris scanner, and it's gonna be the same one we have on the Note 7, which actually worked flawlessly. Every single time I looked at the Note 7, it clearly unlocked the phone immediately. So we have an iris scanner, and we also have water resistance with a rating of IP68, which is the same thing that we have on the S7, on the S7 Edge, the same thing we had on the late Note 7. So that's to be expected. It works fine, so you should not be worried. Don't be worried about water splashes. You can even dive into the ocean. I don't recommend going to the ocean. Samsung does not recommend going to the ocean, but you can certainly dive into the pool and go as deep as 5 feet for 30 minutes, and your phone is just fine. This means you can use the camera underwater if you so desire. And finally, I want to talk about the wireless charging. So basically, it's a very obvious thing. We're gonna have wireless charging on the S8, but I want to go into a little bit detail. So with all Samsung phones ever since the S6, we have had some nice features as far as wireless goes, even charging goes. So we normally get 4 options. We get wired charging, and we get fast wired charging. We also get wireless charging and also fast wireless charging. The only thing is, if you want to get the fast wireless charging, you have to buy the fast wireless charging pad, which is going to be sold separately. All right, so just keep that in mind. You're going to be able to buy cheaper wireless charging pads. They're not going to have fast charging, but if you buy the one that says fast charging on it, you're going to be able to charge your phone very quickly wirelessly. And that's that, guys. So those are the top 10 things we know about the Samsung Galaxy S8 with almost 100% certainty. And again, just to be safe, I'm going to say 95% certainty. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or any kind of extra knowledge, just drop it down below in the comment section. There's a couple things we do not know the details about yet, such as the Bixby voice assistant that the Samsung is going to have for us. It's going to be a Siri-like assistant that's going to be built into the Samsung phones. We really don't have much details about it, but it's something that's going to be out there. And of course, the other thing is, apparently the Samsung Galaxy S8s are going to get some kind of docking capability. We're going to be able to dock it, and it's going to actually project the phone into a computer monitor from where you can use it as a semi-computer with a desktop-like interface. Alright, well, thanks for watching this video, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, or a thumbs down if you despise it. And still make sure you subscribe to Saki Tech, and you have a fantastic day.